Embark on an epic journey as a group of animal friends. Find the secret food ingredients to the ultimate recipe in Umami Friends.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Umami Friends, game designed by Andrew Jack.
And hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant from Meeple University.
Alright, let's get to the classroom.
In Umami Friends, players are sentient animals after the crash of the radioactive comet, which brought the foods to life. Now players compete to collect and combine those ingredients into better and better recipes in search of umami points. The first to achieve 30 umami points will be the winner. Umami Friends plays with 2 or 3 players, or can be played by 4 players in a 2 versus 2 team mode. We'll take you through the 2 and 3 player individual rules first. To set up, lay out the playmat if you have it. If you don't have it, that's fine, you'll just lay out all of the cards and decks on the table. Find the 4 decks: ingredients in pink, rare recipes in blue, common recipes in orange, and chefs in red with the chef illustrations. Shuffle and place the decks of ingredients and rare recipes and deal 10 rare recipes face up. Place them out and deal out 10 rare recipes. If the remaining egg is flipped up, then stack the 2 you set aside on top of it, and this rule applies throughout the game as well. There are 10 different common recipes with multiple copies of each, and lay them out into matching stacks. Note as well, if you're playing with the egg expansion, then you'll only deal out 9 rare recipes and use the remaining space for the stack of 3 eggs. Eggs behave as if they're common recipes for all purposes in the game. Determine the first player by cutting the rare recipes deck and looking for highest umami points. Lay out the chefs. In an order determined by whoever cut the second highest card, each player chooses which chef to play as. One of the common recipes will be identified in the bottom right corner of the card as your starting recipe. So take a copy of it and place it and your chef in a face-up area in front of yourself. Through the game, your total collection of face-up cards is called your board. All players draw a starting hand of 5 ingredients, which is kept secret from the other players. Finally, in the same order in which you took chefs, each player may optionally discard 1 rare recipe from the board before all empty spaces are refilled at once from the deck. You're now ready to play. Umami Friends is played in turns, starting from the first player and going clockwise around the table. Your turn is resolved in 3 steps. Firstly, the pre-action, where you may take any number of sweets cards from your hand, that's one showing the sweets icon in the top left corner, and play them face up into your board. Secondly, you take 1 action, which will be the bulk of your turn. And thirdly, you either draw or discard ingredient cards until your hand matches your hand size. Play will then pass to the next player. When it comes to the action step of your turn, there are 4 different actions you can take. These are draw ingredients, play an ingredient to your board, make a recipe, or make your chef's recipe. During the step of your turn, you choose any one of those 4 actions to take. If you choose to draw ingredients, then take 3 new ingredient cards from the top of the ingredient deck and add them to your hand. Remember that you'll have to discard down to your hand limit at the end of your turn, so this is a good way to see lots of different cards to find the ones you need, but it won't let you keep extra cards. The second option is to add an ingredient to your board. Take any one ingredient card from your hand and then play it face up to your board. The card is no more valuable on your board than it would have been in your hand. When it comes time to make recipes, you can still spend from either location. However, since your board is not considered part of your hand, at the end of your turn you'll be able to gain another card, and therefore hang on to more total ingredients than you otherwise could. This is also the benefit of playing all the sweets from your hand during the start of your turn. Your third option is to make a recipe. You can choose any one of the 20 face-up recipes that you wish to make, and must pay its cost, which is based on the icon showing in the bottom left corner of its picture. Here I'd need a burger and 3 sauce, and I must discard a combination of cards from my hand and board which shows at least that many icons. Here I could use these 2 cards for the 3 sauce and this one for the burger. I would overpay by 1 salad icon and I don't get any change for that. There are 7 basic types of icon: plant, burger, noodles, sauce, sweets, taco, and spicy. There are also 4 different power levels. Ingredient, represented by the circle, is the weakest, then basic, which is a triangle, advanced is a pentagon, and legendary is a star. Lower scoring cards will only ever require ingredients, while higher scoring cards may require basic or advanced icons which come from previously completed recipes. Some cards just require an icon of a certain shape and any colour. For example, either of these cards could fulfill this cost. And some recipe cards have wild icons. This egg could represent any circular cost icon, such as this one. In rare cases, a recipe will only give you a shape, not a colour. This plain sandwich could only be used to fulfill a plain triangle icon. It's not considered wild and couldn't substitute for one of those. So, following those rules, pay the cost. Any ingredients go to the ingredient discard. Rare recipes go to the rare recipe discard pile. While if you pay with a common recipe, return it to the pile it came from. For this, once again remember that the eggs behave as if they are common recipes. Then take the card you've made and add it to your board. If there is a text effect which does not say passive, immediately resolve that effect now. This is a once-off bonus for making that card. If, on the other hand, there's an effect which states passive, you don't resolve this immediately, but this is a special ability which will be in play as long as this card is face up on your board. There are some cards which have both. This Emperor Torta has a passive ability and an immediate ability that you resolve now. Then if the card has this icon showing on it, you may take another action immediately. Finally, if there's now an empty space in the rare recipe market, refill it. If there's a gap in the common recipes, then nothing happens, and no one can make that again until one has been returned. The fourth and final action is to cook your chef's recipe. Your chef card will have an ability printed down the bottom of it. And in some cases these are passive abilities, in which case they're always in effect. But if your ability is a recipe, then it will have an ingredient cost, and as an action you can spend those ingredients to resolve the effect. Once you've completed your one action, plus any bonus actions from the cards you play, you also have the option to take another action by spending 3 sweets ingredients from your hand or board. If you do this, follow the same rules as any other action. Once you're done with actions, you either draw up to or discard down to your hand limit. All players begin the game with a hand limit of 5, but this can be altered by any effects on your board which change the max refresh. A player with only this on the board would have a hand limit of 6. Each recipe card on your board, plus your chef card, has a number of umami points. The game end is triggered as soon as any one player has at least 30 points. When this happens, all other players in the game get one more turn, and then the game is over, even if the player who triggered the end no longer has 30 points. The player with the highest score wins. If tied players take another turn and continue taking turns until the tie is broken. The 4-player game is played between 2 teams of 2, and the first team to have 30 points will be the winner. Teammates should sit next to each other, and the turn order will zigzag across the table. For example, first player, second, third, fourth, and so on. Players on the same team maintain separate hands and separate boards of ingredients, but a shared recipe board. That means ingredients can't be shared. If Franck wanted to complete this recipe, all of the ingredients would need to come from Franck's board or hand. However, the recipe icons are shared, and so Sasha could spend these from the shared board and these from hand to play the spice cream. Teammates can look at each other's hands, they just can't share them. Finally, since you're sitting next to your teammate, there will be one opponent directly opposite you and one diagonally opposite you. If an effect refers to your opponent, then you must choose the opponent opposite you. If it says an opponent, then you may choose either player from the opposing team. And that's how to play Umami Friends. We are using a prototype copy of the game, so the rules and components may not be final, and do check out the project page for the game. We'll put a link to that in the description below.
And thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know and share this video if you enjoyed, and have a great day. See you next time.